Hello, Craig here from Eagle Eye. Today, the sign word of the day is brought to you by the letter B, as in barrier film. So, what is barrier film? What is it used for? And is it an alternative to printing white if you don't print white in your shop? Let's dig in. Let me explain. Okay, so what is barrier film? How can I use barrier film? Well, let's say you get a call from a customer, and the customer says, hey, I want a decal to put on a window. I want to mount the decal on the inside, but read it on the outside. What do? Well, what we do, or what you can do, is you would print that on clear. You'd flip your image in mirror so that it can be read on the outside. Print it on clear, and if you have the ability to print white, you'd back flood it with white. So you would have that white background. Then the customer could put the decal on the inside and read it on the outside. But what happens if you're a small shop or you don't print white? First of all, as much volume as I run through my shop, I maybe get 2 calls a year for white. And usually after talking to the customer, it's just because they're not thinking through the process correctly. But if you need the white, what do? You're a small shop, your printer doesn't print white. What do? Here you go. You use barrier film. Barrier film is a very thin material. You apply it like laminate. And it's a matte white on one side and then a clear glue on the other side. But what is neat about barrier film is I'll show you, I'm going to put it up to the camera, and as you can see, you can't see me. It has a thin metal on the inside of it, a blockout. See, I'm making faces at you and you can't even see. Not really. So, barrier film gives you the ability to put that on the back of a clear film or on the back of a clear digital print and give you that white appearance and not be able to see through it. It would also give you the ability that if you wanted to do a double side clean. Now, that would be where you would take the clear, print your image mirror, put your barrier film down, and then print your other image on clear in regular and mount them together, and then cut them out. And then you'd have a double-sided print. Now, most larger shops, how they would do that is print, flood with white, and then print on top of it, all in one process. But if you know anything about white ink and putting white ink through your printer, it slows your prints down amazingly slow to a crawl. And so printing white is not always a necessary item in your shop if you have barrier film. Now let me take you over to one of our windows in our print area back here, and I'll show you a double-sided clean that we did for a restaurant chain. Follow along. So here we are at one of our windows from our pre-press area looking into our print area. Now this is a decal that we did for a local restaurant chain, and they wanted a double-sided decal. So let me peel back part of it so you can see it. And you can see there that this is the image that we printed on clear in mirror, because it's going to be read from that side. Then we put a barrier film down, and then we've mounted another clear image on top of it. And that's what you got. Now you have a double-sided print that can be read from both sides. That's what barrier film is for. And see, the barrier film doesn't allow the light to pass through, so it keeps each image on each side crisp and clear. So there you go, barrier film. What is barrier film? Well, it's exactly what its name implies. It's a barrier film. You would typically see barrier film when you do that mirror digital print on clear, where the customer wants to mount the decal on the inside of a store or a glass and then read it from the outside. Or you can also create a double print like we just showed you in my print area. I want to advise to get a good barrier film. barrier film is not very expensive, even for the best of the products. Something that I have noticed on some failure of barrier film, because it has like a metal or mylar material in the center, sometimes I've had barrier film that when it's separating from the paper, when we're mounting it or lamming it to our image, it will look like sparkles have been dropped along your print. Well, that's because the white or the glue is not adhering well to the mylar. And it happens. I've seen it many a times with the good stuff, with the bad stuff, but I highly recommend spend a little money, get the better barrier film. It's not very expensive. Okay, so there you go. Barrier film, sign word of the day, brought to you by the letter B. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. It had a lot of information. And I did mention earlier in my previous sign word of the day, acrylic, about barrier film. I'll link the two together in the description so you can check that video out again. The next video we'll be doing is on clear, so that you can put all of this together and see all of it. Anyway, like I said, thank you for following along. Follow us on eagleeyesigns.net, and as always, thank you for your support.